Hey guys, and welcome back to another Generation Y. My name is Mark. I'm from the UK. This is my friend Dan. He's from the Southeast US. Hey, dude.
What up?
How's it going?
It's a good day.
It is a
It's a good
very good.
day. It's been a good week. Yeah, you guys got to go check out Mark's response to the not guilty verdicts of Rittenhouse. That was
Yeah.
pretty awesome. So, what a white pill. I think everyone's been saying that lately. A lot of white pills been taken. Not going to black pill anyone. I'm just going to say that's just the battle. It's not the war. Um, I think I teared up a little bit, dude. It was like one of those moments, I was like, oh, like I think Ian on Timcast said it last night. He was like it was like I was drowning, and then I finally got that
Yeah.
fresh, the breath of fresh air. That's what it felt like. So I mean, I hope everyone feels the same, and if you don't feel the same way, I'm not saying you're not allowed to, but I would probably means you probably should go look into the case a little bit more extensively before like how I just don't. I don't know how anyone could look at this case and not be
Yeah.
pissed off that it even charges were brought.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
and that's it. Literally, like all. Like, I think I was reading like 99 out of 100 prosecutors would have never taken this up because it was that clear of self defense. So, congratulations to Kyle and his family, and I hope they go because even after the trial, people were lying on it. Like people were
Yeah.
saying, some crazy shit. Joy Reid was on her racist tirades again last night. Like you just can't beat these people are insane, dude.
Dude, this fucking woman, like, she drives me nuts. Like, I've never known, like, other than Trump, I don't think I've known anybody that is quite as hated as Joy Reid, but she doesn't realize it. Like, I don't think she realizes it because I don't know, man. She just seems to get worse like every time. Like somebody that I was speaking to said, imagine if you could swap sometimes when she says the word white, if you swap that for black and vice
Yeah.
versa. I mean, she sounds like a Ku Klux Klan member.
I mean, it's black nationalism. It's black supremacy. It's this Nation of Islam, black Hebrew Israelite type of mentality. And listen, she has the right to say what she wants, and if people want to watch her, whatever.
Yeah,
There's zombies, and some people would they say some Trump supporters are zombies. That they
yeah,
only follow the bravado and the machismo of Trump, and that's like what attracts like kind of that animalistic nature of
mm,
ourselves. So, oh yeah, there she is. Joy, she got them neck rolls
yeah.
though. Yeah, I like how she kept her chin down on that one. Look at that other one up there to the right. The next one. Oh yeah, look at them
Oh.
neck rolls, dude. Ah, I hate her, dude. I hate saying I don't hate her. I'm really sad for her, honestly. Um,
Yeah, she's just a liar, and I tell you what, she should be next to the definition of gaslighter, like in the dictionary,
right
because
next
she's a
to it, dude.
And I was watching her speaking about cultural, what do they call it? When people steal, or they
Cultural
say,
appropriation.
yeah. And she had like straight blonde hair.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, do you have no sense of self, you know?
I think these people. I think Tim tweeted it earlier actually, and he goes like, these people don't have the same moral framework as they just don't. They work on completely different dimension. Like they're not in
Mm.
reality. And it's disappointing that people in our media, because at this point, do they even care about money? I don't even know
Uh,
anymore.
no, I don't think they do. I think
Well, like
it's like,
the
sorry.
ACLU like came out and said this is like some crazy like white supremacy like this that and because they care about money, they need donors. If they came out and supported Kyle Rittenhouse,
Yeah,
they would lose a lot of donors.
they would. So speaking of Clive Rittenhouse, I just wanted to show you this, man. So this was on the front page of the Independent over here, which it, ironically
uh
called the Independent, is
didn't they change it? I think
I
I know
don't
what you're
know.
about to bring up. I think they did,
Oh
but
yeah.
this was definitely after the trial. Yeah.
Ding
And,
ding 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 ding. Ding. So yeah. Full story, teenager who shot 3 black men with rifle found not guilty on all charges.
Oh,
Teenager who shot 3 black men with rifle found not guilty on all charges.
Well,
This is a hugely wide. Do you guys have The Independent or not?
I know it was UK,
It's
you
a
know, but like
huge paper. It's like one of the
the
5 big papers here.
Glenn Greenwald went on, and you can't even blame them 100% because they're watching our national media.
Yeah.
So like this is, and if you listen to the language they were using, you could kind of assume being white supremacist, BLM protester, like that, even though they were rioters, like that would lead you to believe that they were probably black people that were shot, you know? So
Yeah, maybe. But you have surely like I feel like we're in this stage now where journalists just go on social media's point of view. And other people as well. Like they don't actually do journalism. Like they don't do a little look at like
no, one
dude,
guy writes a story, they all echo it. That's
that's what I
like,
mean. Like
it's this echo, but it's lazy journalism. They
yeah,
go
it
look up
is.
another story, use it as the source, you know, and it's like ridiculous. Oh yeah, yeah. Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber, righteous heroes. Uh,
Righteous heroes,
Once you're
dude.
on the side of the pedophiles, like you kind of lose all moral clarity. You know, like you're done. And if you want to say that Anthony Huber is like, you could maybe argue from his perspective, maybe,
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know, but I mean, like, you know, I don't. It's awful. It's all awful. Jail Kyle Rittenhouse, huh? Ugh, it's just gross. And
Yeah.
and so if you're the UK media and you say justice for Jacob Blake, or if you're not really plugged in, like the DCC chairman Sean Patrick said, it's disgusting and disturbing that someone was able to carry a loaded assault rifle into a protest against the unjust killing of Jacob Blake, an
Yeah.
unarmed black man, and take the lives of 2 people and injure another and face absolutely no consequences. Jacob Blake was never killed.
No, he wasn't.
Like, so like that right there just says how that's a political operative. If you don't know the
Mm.
basic story, it's pretty sad. All
I,
cops are Kyles.
yeah, so this is I mean, obviously in Portland they had to have their little party, so they all
Yeah.
went out and fucked up Portland. I don't know how Portland can afford to run itself because the amount of damage done like every night, at least
It's
every weekend.
it's got to be untenable.
Yeah, I think it
I
is.
I don't know how they can look at themselves and honestly say that they're doing good. You know, it's that Hegelian dialectic. It's that Hegelian framework or Marxist framework where the revolution is always there. It's always gonna, even if you win the
Mm,
war, the revolution must continue. It's a constant struggle between the capitalists and, you know, the bourgeoisie or whatever they want to say. Like it's always a revolution, and they're very conspiratorial. So they're very thinking that people are always out to get them. They're always trying to take them down, and that's what you see a lot. Like, and if you actually go look into the history between, like, do you know, this is interesting, true story. Do you know the U.S. helped Russia during World War II? They would go from San Francisco, and then when they get out in the ocean, raise Russian flags, sail by Japan to give them aluminum to be able to fight the Germans. And like that wasn't even widely known for a long time. So like we even helped facilitate the Russian getting in, and then obviously probably, but like FDR and Stalin had private talks that
yeah,
aren't really
sure.
off
I mean,
record. So like the idea that, and what my main point is, like America has always kind of played this weird role when it comes to communism, like always backdoor supporting it to meet our own ends, right? It's kind of like chess. Like you support your enemy that is fighting your enemy, which kind of makes them your friend. It's kind of like when we were fighting with ISIS in Syria. It's like that just shouldn't make sense.
mm.
We're killing each other in Afghanistan, but now we're helping each other as we take down the Kurds, or not the Kurds, in Assad or whatever. It's a really weird situation that America has been putting itself. This is the exact reason the founding fathers did not want foreign intervention. They didn't want to do empire building because of how complicated it is and how destructive it can be for our nation to go through that. And I think the British have felt that, you know, when they were kind of releasing the empire, kind of like giving land back or whatever you want to call it. The Jews, as an example, they got Israel. It's really hard to manage the globe. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard
and
to do.
Expensive as well.
And expensive. So it's I don't know. America needs to change. We need to change. That's for sure. Our culture needs to change, I think.
Have you spoken to many people in real life? So I know it's only been a day, but like, have you seen anyone out in town, or have you? Like, what do people you know think about it?
I mean, I've talked to people in jiu-jitsu about it, you know, and stuff, and a lot of people weren't informed. People had said some crazy shit, you know,
Really?
about driving across state lines, his mother, and this, that, or the other, whatever. And listen, it's not their fault. Most people aren't plugged in. Most people don't got time. They just see the news. They see the thing on Facebook, and they move on, right? Because Facebook and our social media is basically like putting a pig up to the trough and just feeding it unrelentlessly, and it's for your mind. It just it numbs you. But we watched some of the videos, you know, because there was a guy, he's a BLM supporter, talking about he's a racist, that and the other, and I was like, listen, man, forget all that. Let's just say, you know, I showed him the video. I'm like, how is this not self-defense? And, you know, the typical arguments like this, that, or the other. I'm like, Rosenbaum wasn't armed. And I'm like, okay, he wasn't armed. You know, and then we went through the process and we broke it down, and I broke it down from him from like my training perspective and why, if you are ever in this situation, if you have a weapon, you should definitely defend yourself. You know,
I thought the number one rule is if you have a weapon is don't let someone else take your weapon.
It's up there. It's definitely top 5. Whatever you point at, you know, intend to kill, intend to destroy, know what's behind your target. And, you know, those are probably the big, and like, it's really just about safety and self-preservation. You should be trying to put the enemy at a disadvantage at all times. You know, when you're talking about self-defense and the use of guns, knowing what's behind your target is important still, but there's a little bit of forgiveness in the law. And that, like, with Richie McGinnis, he was charged for putting in danger to his life. Jump kick man, you know, when he missed him, like, that's a crime because you miss somebody. It's crazy. But those charges were rightfully dropped, but those charges could still be brought upon you. It was a pretty interesting take, and I think Kyle did what he had to do in that situation. And when you just say, like, listen, man, like, I showed my buddy the videos and we went over it, and I was like, you can still think that he deserves to go to jail. That's fine. You can still think that he's a racist, that and the other, but like, I just got to say, then you're not willing to just look at reality of that situation in the moment of what it was. And that's what he was on trial for, was for the moment. That was 2 minutes or so isolated.
Yeah, I guess so. Sorry, man. I was just trying to find the picture of Jump Kick Man. Do you know if Jump Kick Man was the same guy that was Yellow Pants?
No, they've not that I know they've confirmed it, but the prosecution, according to a news report, I can't remember, it's like Just the News, but it was like a local paper, did an investigation and found out that the Jump Kick Man is a local of Kenosha, and he actually went to the prosecution to try to get amnesty.
Right.
Say that he would testify, and the prosecution didn't want him. So they lied to the court when they said that they lied to the court when they said, we don't know who this guy is, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And is this over for Kyle? I hope so. I hope the DOJ doesn't go after him because Jerry Nadler, representative out in New York State, called for it.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's not going to pose a deadly threat to your life, I mean, some people could argue, like, but it's obviously deadly. A foot can kill you.
Absolutely, man.
It's not a small person.
And it's not even just that. It's like, what happens if he does kick me in the head and I get knocked unconscious?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You'll be probably beat to death.
Yeah. And look at who's running up behind him as well, dude.
looks a CGI. What is this?
As Anthony Huber is running up behind him at the same time. So you're about to get a foot to the head, and
And I
then a
think
dude with
his gun goes off right about here.
yeah.
So like it's around this moment where he doesn't shoot him as he's running in. He shoots him the moment, which maybe he didn't have time to react to it, of course. But like he tried to just only fire when his life was in absolute danger. So, yep, there's Huber. He was dead about 2 seconds later after that.
Yeah.
And dude, I'll tell you, dude. Could you imagine the fear before you pass out, knowing that you just fucked up so royally? And right here, yeah, Grosskreutz. And this was the picture that everyone was putting out, that he had his cell phone. And because it is hard to see the gun.
He has
here.
his
That
cell
was, like,
phone in his left hand, and he has his Glock in his right hand.
It is hard to see the Glock, though. In like when people were posting this photo initially, yeah, you can zoom in, but it does look like he has his hands up. And this is the problem with still imagery a lot of the time, why video is so impactful. And that's what I hated during the trial. They just kept doing it all in slow motion and still photos. And I'm like, the defense never once played it in full speed.
Yeah.
Not once.
It's like in sport, right? I'll use cricket, but you guys could just pretend it's baseball. So in cricket, they'll often be like, "Oh, what a horrendous shot that was! I can't believe he got out," and they'll show it in like super slow motion, and so it looks like the player has loads of time, and you're thinking, "How did he miss that?" But then if you play it in fast motion, you can see, it's a shitload more difficult when it's played in normal speed.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you're watching, a bad call in a sports game, right? Or like a sports match or whatever you're watching. And like, it just sucks because you can watch it 1,000 times over and over again, and the ref got to see it that one time, right?
Yep.
So it's we all get to play what we call in the United States Monday quarterback.
Yeah, it's the same here. Yeah, or Monday manager, we call it Monday morning manager.
Yeah, like Monday morning quarterback. He should have done this. He should have done that. Well, sometimes shit just happens. Yeah. And I think this is really the real problem, is that the political pressure they were receiving. I would like to see Kyle Rittenhouse sue the state and get FOIA'd and like FOIA all their documents so that they see if the governor called them, if notes were made about actually going after him in a political way. Yeah. I would like to see those internal emails.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
So do you think sorry, man, do you think Jerry Nadler is for real, or do you think he's just a fat prick that was trying to have...
He's definitely a fucking little... He's actually really skinny. If you look up an old photo of Jerry Nadler from like the 90s. You want to see what he used to look like, dude? Jerry Nadler was a thick boy.
No, because a big boy or a skinny boy?
Oh, no, thick, big, like
God
fat.
Damn.
Yeah, fat. Show the crowd that. You look at Jerry Nadler then versus now, you're like, yeah, he's not even fat. Ooh. What? Look at that one. Go click to see the one right next to Trump. Like, look, it's like Trump and Nadler up top. Or there you go. Let's go to that one down there on the left. You can really see the difference. Like to the right there. Look at that. Look at that monster, dude. Look at that freaking monster, dude.
You don't do fat shaming around here.
It's not. No, that guy's not fat, dude. That guy is not fat. Okay, that guy's a monster. He's not even look human. He looks like a piece of Lego. He looks like a Lego character.
God damn.
Dude, look at that. And he won. This is, my God, before the internet, people really didn't care.
So you know what? I'm going to give props to this guy. Like, I think he's an evil mother effer. And I think he is horrendously corrupt. But, props for losing all that weight. I know it's incredible.
Oh, I mean, it was either that or die. Do you see this guy?
Listen, man, let's be honest. Actually, I retract that statement because I'll put money on the fact that he just had a gastric band.
Oh, probably.
Liposuction. I bet you his
And those are really unhealthy from what I hear, like, because you can't get the proper nutrients in your body and stuff. Like, I've heard.
I'm not surprised. I mean, if you just think about it, like, a gastric band.
Like, it's insane.
You're just going to put a band around your gut.
Yeah, it basically makes it so you can't eat, right? Like, you feel so full, you just can't, which is kind of wild. So, but yeah, Larry Nalder. Nadler. My God, I can't speak.
Jerry Nadler.
Yeah, Jerry. Yep, that's what they do.
God, Jesus.
I'll never
Ow.
get it, man. I mean, people really do have like a problem. There's a lot of people out there that have problems. So,
I know.
but it's just like, I don't know if that's the way.
Do you know
We are
what?
constantly trying to cheat our anatomy. I
I,
don't know
I
if
was,
that's smart.
yeah, me and the missus were just talking about it. Like, we're still animals to a degree, like whatever anyone wants to think. I respect certain people like to think that humans are completely different, and I get what they mean, but we are still an organism. And 20,000 years ago, we weren't sitting around watching TV and eating processed food, uh, and putting contact lenses onto our eyeballs. So yeah, I think we're
Yeah, but I
doing a
mean, we're
lot.
probably altering some sort of,
Yeah,
but I guess that would be the same thing as animals or human beings starting to use tools. Did that alter our biology? Eating better food, cooked food, of course. Like, any advancement in technology is going to alter us evolutionarily at some point.
yeah,
Like look at space travel. If we end up like living predominantly in space, we won't need strong bones anymore. We'll probably
yeah.
even shrink considerably because our bone density will go and
Yeah, I think I've seen a picture of what they think will look like. What will humans
just a
evolve?
mini Larry Nadler, just a fucking
Yeah,
ball of meat just floating around.
yeah.
It's space travel is going to be the cool
Oh
part.
my God.
Is it awful?
Oh, okay, that's something different. I'll show you it anyway because it's not fair not to.
Yeah.
What would humanity look like if it had evolved? Sorry, I just very quickly. If it had, oh, okay, fair enough. If it had evolved to survive car crashes, there we go.
Oh my god, that would be pretty terrifying.
Actually, does kind of look like Jerry just after his gastric
Yeah,
bypass.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you kind of
Look at
got to
all
look
those
like him.
little, those mini airbags, or are they nips?
I don't even know. That's terrifying, honestly. Jesus Christ. It's like a penis. A very weird penis.
Oh, dude. I love the way his legs haven't really changed.
Yeah, like
That's good
nothing else
stuff.
has changed except the head and torso
Yeah.
region. Definitely meant for impact. That guy
Yeah.
will take it all, dude.
Yeah, I guess it's just...
It's like a fleshy version of the Juggernaut from
Oh,
X-Men.
yeah, he does.
Yeah,
Yeah, he does,
big old
man.
head. Yeah, no,
Um,
I think we will continuously evolve, So I think it's going to be interesting. Did you hear about how yesterday that guy was found innocent of self-defense against the cops? And so the cops entered. It was kind of like a Breonna Taylor situation. They entered
Brianna Taylor.
unannounced and they
Um,
shot his girlfriend dead. So he fired in self-defense and he got off of three first degree attempted homicide charges and one second degree murder charge.
that dude was found not guilty.
Yeah, he was found not guilty because the police. This is the problem with no knock warrants: is that if someone gets in your home and they're not announcing themselves, and they start
Yeah,
like, what are you gonna do?
yeah.
What would you do, right? So, but the problem I have with it is there's this guy on Twitter. His name's Soul, not Thomas Soul. He's like not a mock account, but a soft faux account of Thomas Soul,
Mm.
and he I said it's kind of bullshit because he got a gun charge for being a felon. He wasn't allowed to have but it's still looking at 30 years.
Jeez.
And
30
you're
years.
yeah, for a gun charge, and that's kind of bullshit to me because if they're finding out that, hey, you're not allowed to have the gun, fine, but you used it in the proper way, why should that hurt you?
Yeah.
Like why? Like okay, I think the felon stuff. If I kind of believe once you're sent out of prison, you should be considered rehabilitated to some degree.
Mm.
So you should be allowed to at least own a weapon for maybe like home defense. Saying that you're not allowed to have a weapon for home defense is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like if maybe they could make it like a, weapons for home defense, but for 5 years you can't carry in self-defense outside the home because maybe you're a violent felon or whatever, but at least you should be able to protect your property, at the minimum your property, if you're a business owner or something, or your home. It's like that kind of pisses me off, because how can you literally get found not guilty of self-defense, but then you're charged with the weapon that you used it with? That makes no sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense.
That guy could still be looking at minimum of 13, maximum of 30. And the state said they're going for the maximum penalty.
Okay.
So I think after time served, probably 4 years. Maybe he's been on a bail. I don't know. But probably looking at least 10 years.
Yeah.
And mandatory minimums are also kind of stupid too. Because in this circumstance, you could say, you're good. Yes, you had a felon. Here's a fine of $500. Don't do it again. Like you did in this particular moment, you did what it was wrong.
Yeah.
What you did technically by law, but we'll let this one slide because you were aggressed upon. So let it go.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've always kind of thought, I'm trying to think, do we have mandatory minimums? I don't know. But yeah, I always thought whenever I've watched American stuff and I've seen that they say, it's 4 to 10 years or whatever, that I feel like it would be good to have guidelines so they can be like, this is what we recommend. But yeah, I mean, I feel like a judge should use their judgment and be allowed to be a bit softer on someone if that sort of a situation requires. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's like saying that your license was suspended, but there was an emergency. You had to drive someone to the emergency room, so now they arrest you for driving without a license. That's the equivalent of what I see.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like it's an emergency.
It's a good example.
Now it's because it's in your home. So if it wasn't his house and he was at his girlfriend's house and she was the owner of the gun, he probably wouldn't have been charged with it, because then in the moment it wouldn't have mattered. But since it was I think it was because it was his house, that's how they got him on the charge, which is still bullshit to me.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So Ahmaud Arbery?
Yes, directed verdict. They are guilty.
Isn't that crazy that people were saying about the directed verdict in this case, and they were saying, I've never actually seen it done, but this is a good case for it. And then we see it in a case.
Well, the defense admitted that, literally blew their case up to the judge. That's why it happened.
Yeah, I heard about it, but tell me more about it because I don't know.
As far as I understand, in Georgia law, you cannot. So you have to witness a felony taking place to make a citizen's arrest like that, with armed, right? They didn't witness the felony. They had only heard about the felony, and it was from a week prior. So as far as I understand, like I said, I've not been following this. I just want to make sure clear. I've not been following this case as closely as the Rittenhouse trial, because I kind of think they're stupid for what they did personally. And I think Ahmaud Arbery had the 100% right to grab their gun, because if it was me and someone did that and I didn't feel like I didn't.
I think he had the right to do it. I think it was stupid. If it was me, I would have just run away. But yeah, I mean, I totally think
in that moment, dude walks up with a gun. It's instinctual. It's kind of like trying to blame Kyle Rittenhouse for what he did in the moment. You got to remember, it's that microcosm of a moment.
I think I'd need to go back and look at it. From my vague memories, which could be completely wrong, I felt like they said something to him, and then he kind of went towards them what the F did you say? And there was a little scuffle, and then he grabbed the gun.
No,
to me,
it was.
If someone's like, I'm here to arrest you, or what have you been doing in the house? Be like, none of your business. And I just walk away from them, because they're not going to shoot you in the back. And you can say, well, he didn't know that. It's so complicated, man. In my opinion, he was well within his rights, and that's where it stops, because it's about your rights. It's not about what's right, what I think is good or bad or stupid or not.
I think the idea, though, that you're a person, maybe you're in a place you're not supposed to be, and you see these two guys with guns chasing you down in a truck, one guy standing up in the back, and they're not police, they have no authority over you, whatever. For them to get out of the truck and aggress upon him, I think was a categorical error. I think it was awful.
Yeah.
I think it was fucking stupid. And
Wasn't it their friend that told them to go and do it?
yeah, and the other guy was filming. There was a lot of weird stuff about this moment. But basically, as far as I understand it, they admitted that they didn't witness him commit a felony, and they had only heard about it. It was from like a week before. And I guess the cops had kind of told them and stuff that like keep a lookout for this guy. But that doesn't mean you have the right to use deadly force on this person or even bring deadly force. So at the end of the day, it is going to go down as murder, I guess. As far as I understand it, until there's probably other procedural steps that have to be met. But as far as I understand it, I think it's pretty much wrapped up, done. It could go to appeals, but it's probably going to hold because the judge literally looked. He's like, what? Oh, and that's over. Directed verdict. You guys are guilty. Like that was it.
Again, like I say, not that I think it matters because I just look at rights and whatnot. But yeah, he basically sprints towards the truck from about 20 meters away and then just immediately punches someone and grabs a gun. So, fuck it, whatever.
I mean, I honestly think if you want to, in the current system and structure that we have in society, you see a guy, like I asked my brothers about this before, and we talked about like just because you see a guy walking down the street with a gun, are you going to call the police? And they said yes. And I'm like, that's fucking stupid. And because like, well, in society, I'm like, no, you can't. Well, what happens if someone gets shot down the street? That's on him. That person that did it. Like, I don't think we should be in this like, where we just call the police about every little thing. What happened? The guy's walking down to his buddy's place so they can go hunting. And the next thing you know, like a fucking cop rolls up, sees a guy and just has a freak out moment and shoots him. Like Tamir Rice, when Tamir Rice was 12 years old playing with a toy gun in the park and pointed at the cop and the cop blasted him. Like, because someone called the police that a kid was playing with a gun. Like it's like, do I blame the cop in that moment? Not necessarily. Do I blame Tamir? No, but it's like that's what happens when you call the police for every little thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're entering the territory of the Minority Report, aren't you? Like if you're calling someone because you think something's going to happen.
Which is the ideal of being a felon, and then your rights are certainly stripped away from you when you're out of prison. Saying you can't own a gun is predicting crime. That's not cool. Like the whole point of the prison system is legally you've paid your you paid your dues to society.
Yeah.
That is what the whole point of going to prison is. Hey, we have given you a punishment and now you're good. Some people say, well, what happens if you have a violent gun crime or violent gun charge, this, that, or the other? If we don't have ways to reform, like in Wyoming, if you commit a felony and after 10 years you have not recommitted a felony, you get your gun rights back. Like that's how it works. Maybe that's a way to do it, but it's just reforming these systems is going to be difficult if people want to say reform.
Yeah, I would say at the least it's going to be difficult. I don't even.
Well, I heard they're mandating boosters over there. Is that true?
No, I haven't heard anything about this. Like, I have no idea what Tim was talking about because there is no vaccine passport here.
Boris Johnson said to be considered fully vaccinated. I saw the video. I don't. Did you?
No, I just live here.
Yeah, they fair enough. They moved from 2 doses to 3. He came out and said we have changed the status to vaccinated. It has to be 3.
Well, yeah, I mean, they might have changed the status of like being called vaccinated means you have to have 3, but there's no vaccine passport, so it doesn't really make any difference. It's not like you're not going to be allowed into anywhere.
That's true, but it's just like you see what's happening in Austria, Latvia.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I saw something. I think it was some crazy violence kicked off today in Austria.
It was Rotterdam, right? Is that Austria? Rotterdam?
That's the Netherlands, like Holland. But I definitely saw something just before we logged on. Let me see. Oh, I'll get it. You can look it up if you want.
No, I mean, I think it's not surprising that people are responding now a little bit more because I hate this, dude, because it's so draining as a person.
That's a good way of putting it.
I'm either trapped between being like Alex Jones, everything is a conspiracy, to it's more just organic. You know, like, is this more of an organic type of development in the world?
Yeah.
Did America kind of lead the way with the lockdowns, or or with China? But like,
I
did we
don't.
kind of allow the rest of the world to go into lockdown and argue for it with the World Health Organization? Like, where did the lockdowns come from?
So from my memory, America was actually a little bit behind everyone because you guys were like one of the last countries to have like a big breakout. Because I remember thinking at the time
Well, we shut down our
we were,
borders and our flights first. We were like one of the first countries to stop allowing flights from China.
yeah, but I mean like a
Like,
domestic lockdown because
yeah,
like Italy was one of the first countries
and
outside of
they were hit
China.
hard. They were hit
Yeah.
real hard.
And then
Yeah.
about 3 weeks after we had started hearing how bad it was in Italy, that was when. So I think we locked down, like we had a domestic lockdown March 19th, 2020.
That's about when we had it, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it was around the same. Dude, I'm telling you, I think it was like pretty universally, like maybe all in the same month.
Yeah, but yeah, so Italy and Spain were like the first two countries that had really massive
And
death.
that's what inspired the rest of the world to go into
Yeah.
lockdown. Even though not taking into account that Italy's like home demographics are generally they live with their grandparents, and that's kind of how it works there. They're way more generationally collected. So like you're gonna have a lot older people living with younger people, and that had to have helped spread it
Yeah.
fast.
I mean, also, I don't know if have you ever been to Italy?
Yes,
Yeah, like you might
Naples.
remember you would not fit a Dodge Ram 2500 in an Italian street. Like those
I saw
things
a
are
guy drive a
15.
Jeep Wrangler 4-door down
Yeah.
there. I was with him, and I couldn't believe the things we were doing with that fucking thing. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it was fitting. You were literally sitting up, like looking down on everybody. Like you're just like,
Yeah.
this is like fucking crazy. And
Like just
they have no rules over there for the road, dude. Shit's like fucking nuts. It is. I remember being like stressed out the first time sitting in a taxi, being like this.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. Not quite as crazy as France, but yeah.
I've only been to France very slightly. It was to bang a chick when I was in Germany. And it was
Nice.
pretty
Nice.
sick.
So let me bring up this picture. This is what I mean about what I think one of the problems with Italy was. So have a look at this picture here. Like a lot of the roads in Italy, in the inner city parts of Italy, are like this road here, like
Yeah, yeah, that's
cobble brick.
exactly.
I mean, look how many people.
It's even more terrifying when you're going between buildings,
Yeah,
like in Naples, because it's more of a city. They do have wide roads. They have like 5 lane, like on either side or whatever. But then you have to take these little turns down these little streets, and like that's the stuff we were driving down.
yeah,
That's the stuff we were in. Like maybe not that narrow, maybe only two of those though. Like
yeah,
two widths, and you were driving a Jeep down that thing. You were like, how the fuck? Like that size. That's
yeah,
exactly what we were driving down. Those little barriers are everywhere. Those little pop up things. I'm
yeah,
like,
man. You've
I
ever
don't know
seen the
how to
cars that
do
get
it.
stuck on those?
Oh my
I've
gosh.
seen that in my town here, like or city near me. We've had a few people that get stuck like a tortoise because
Oh.
they just come up as you're driving over
No,
them
I've seen.
sometimes.
I was in the military. We had them at the base. I've seen
Oh, of
what
course you
happens
did, yeah.
when people accidentally hit the pop up barriers or something happened like that. Yeah, it's pretty. They're devastating if they hit underneath the car.
Yeah.
They hit from the bottom. Oh, it's brutal.
It's just a write-off, isn't it? What would you guys a total
I
write-off?
don't even know how it works.
Well,
It's
because
bad. Oh, you're
the
talking about
belly of
like
the
for the
car is
insurance? Oh yeah, it would be a complete. Yeah, it'd be totaled, is
yeah,
what we call
total
it.
loss because the
Yeah.
belly is so thin, like the metal on the belly of a car is so thin
Yeah.
that it just buckles or just bends.
Yeah. I mean, the thing literally gets popped like maybe 5 feet, like 2,000 pounds popped up in the air like 5 feet, maybe
Yeah,
more. I don't know, but I've only ever seen the video of it. But it's not. It does not look like you want to be in that car when it goes up. Honestly.
no.
Or like the drop arms and stuff. We had these one time I'm working the gate. I'm in the military. I'm scanning IDs. Another day, and I'm like, we had 2 lanes, both going inbound into the base, and one guy was over there checking. I was over on the other side checking, and it was really busy. So for some reason, the guy had to close the other lane because for whatever reason. So I'm out there by myself checking IDs, and I just hear, ring, and I look, and there's a car probably going 65, 70 miles an hour, going over all the bumps, like heading into base, because I like to slow down, let people,
Speed bumps.
Yeah, speed bumps. Thank you. And hits the drop arm. If it was pinned, these people would have died. Hits the drop arm, probably going 65, 70 miles an hour. And the thing flies up in the air. They take off. We had to get in the chase vehicle, and because there's a vehicle at every gate to chase people if they call a gate runner.
What car is it?
Huh?
What car is it?
I don't know what it was.
Is it like a Corvette ZR1?
No.
ZR1.
God. Oh no, it's like a Chevy 2500, whatever it is, like 250. I don't know, like nothing spectacular. Ford 250. No. They were just trucks.
Oh, okay.
Trucks. And yeah, they were swerving everywhere and like all that stuff. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. They ended up being like 2 prostitutes. They had multiple IDs, bunch of credit cards. Yeah, they were just like really high, like really messed up.
And who were they then? They weren't people of base.
Civilian. They were off base. They just were really high, and they didn't know that they were driving onto a military installation.
Oh, but they weren't military people though.
No, they were prostitutes, like legit prostitutes and shit. It was pretty hilarious. That was the first time I ever saw someone get tased.
Did you get tased?
Yeah, I've been tased.
Do your best impression of what it was like when you got tased.
Impression?
Yeah. Use your mic as if use your mic.
Like that's it, dude. Just that's the best way to explain. Like it's like all your muscles just go like that, and there's.
Can you fight it?
You can.
Can you?
Kind of. Like you can, but it's not fun. Like I didn't like. I remember because what they usually do is they put you, they stand you up. And then they ride you down, like someone will hold your arms,
I've seen it. Yeah.
Stuff like that. But there was this one kid. I don't want to say his name because he's still in, but there was this one guy, dude, and I don't know if these connect because they don't actually shoot it at you. They're called gator clips because you have to go to the hospital. So they clip it and the worst one is the full circuit. So you boot to shoulder.
Oh, Jesus.
Creates a full circuit. And so it's like their whole body gets it. Or is it boot to boot? No, boot to boot is the worst. That's what it is. Boot to boot. Yeah, boot to boot. So I've had boot to boot, and I've had a shoulder to shoulder. I was a taser instructor. I was a master taser certified from Taser, the company, actually, during my military service. Yeah, I was a master certified instructor of Taser. I don't remember shit, so don't ask me. But they, we had like literally the guy would walk around the class if you were like starting to fall asleep or whatever. He just tased you a little bit. Like pop you, real jerks. But the tasers are pretty incredible for the most part. But you can fight it technically. Yeah. It can be done. Like I said, these were not embedded in the skin, but I saw a guy. And it makes your knees buckle when it's boot to boot. Yeah. Because it makes your whole legs like collapse. So he gets down on his knees, and he's like, oh, and he just fights it and stands up.
No way. Oh,
while it's going, and everyone was like, oh my God.
Well,
like, oh my God, that's pretty crazy, dude. Like, how did you do that? Yeah, I've seen some of that. I've seen the OC spray stuff. I fortunately got to miss that one. I'm very happy I got to miss the OC spray because I've heard that's way worse. I would rather it's 30 minutes, 40 minutes. You go get in the shower that night. It goes down your body. Like they tell you to wear your underwear and stuff because it will stick around for a while. So, I mean, I've had pepper spray a little bit from like the fake kind, but not the real shit. And the fake kind still hurt for a long time. So,
yeah, I had a friend in the British RAF and he had that stuff. And he said, like, you can feel it for days, like the next couple of days. Like you said, like when you're in the shower, it'll just randomly seem to come from somewhere and you can just feel it irritating you or
Yeah, it's not. And like you got to respect Antifa because they're out there getting it. They're getting fucked up every night and they're taking it. Bear mace.
I don't expect. Yeah, I'm not going to respect Antifa.
They gotta fucking. They're out there. But the thing is, like, I don't know how you even respond to Antifa. They don't respond. Like the police literally got pushed back. They know where they come out of in the precinct, so they wait there. The police, at this point, what are you going to do? Like, I guess they're just going to have to let their city fall into the hands of Antifa. Like, what are you guys doing? And the citizenry won't fight back because they kind of support it. So it's, I don't know.
Would it be
reelected? I don't know.
So there's a local family. They're actually a really lovely family off base, obviously, because I live between a few American occupations, and really nice. Most people from the military actually are really nice, and good taste in car. He drives
Nice.
a Hellcat.
Oh.
Big fan of the Hellcat. But they come from Portland, Oregon, and I'm tempted to bring up the fact that Antifa has taken over your city. Do you think they would take offense?
If you said what?
If I said, "What the fuck is going on with your city? Like, why are you not? Why are you guys?"
I feel like if I don't see why they would take that offensively.
They
Like
seem
what we
fairly based, but
well,
they were anti-Trump.
they don't like Antifa. Most normal everyday Americans, especially military people, don't like violent groups like that. So like terrorizing communities and stuff. People can say whatever they want. The only time the right wing has ever terrorized anybody was Congress.
Yeah.
Okay, that shit is like kind of fucking funny though. But those are the ones to be really mad at, right? Like the people who actually challenge the power structure are the ones being punished the worst. And the people that are left like in Portland just like helpless, they're like, nah, whatever. Like it is kind of ironic and a perfect example of what's wrong with our current government.
I was
And
just gonna say that.
perfect example. Oh no, these guys stepped in our and like the fucking weird part is Americans fall for it. They're like, they're terrorists, and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, they might have been assholes. They might have assaulted a few people. That might have got out of hand. Whatever. We all agree. I should actually have been shot. No, but like calling them terrorists. Oh, I think Congress maybe should be able to call them that because they were being terrorized.
Yeah.
But people are so offended because we have this weird, and symbols are important. Don't get me wrong, which is why the QAnon shaman got 41 months in jail because the judge literally said it was because he was a symbol.
Yeah.
How that case isn't thrown out immediately is crazy. Like you can't just put someone in jail for being a symbol. Like that doesn't seem legal, but people really care about their symbols a lot, and it's just a building at the end of the day. And when it comes to like the government, it is just a building. That's not our government. It's just a building. So if the people, should those people be maybe have like some sort of fine or ticket or do a couple months of jail? You could argue, sure, it seems like a fair punishment for disrupting the electorate process or whatever, but you're talking 10 months of solitary confinement and then 41 months after that, and then people being not allowed to cut their hair. One guy got beat so bad that he's blind in one eye now. Like,
Hold on. Stop. So there are Americans beating up other Americans so badly that they're going blind.
yeah, one guy got beat so bad that he legitimately lost his eyesight in his left or right eye, whatever eye it was. He was left for, I think, 48 hours in his cell without treatment. His eye almost went septic or whatever.
Yeah.
And like he almost lost, like he could have died. They wouldn't let him seek medical treatment. The nurses were like, had to like transport him to the hospital, basically. They
And these
are
are like
not.
prison guards doing this.
Yes.
What the fuck?
We're talking. They are not. These are political prisoners. These are POWs, basically, in the war of whatever's going on. You want to call it fifth generational warfare. They're being labeled terrorists so that people don't have sympathy or empathy for them. It's a classic trope. You just like scapegoat. You build up a framework that people can understand, and people are terrorists, and they're not human anymore, right? So they can be treated this way. No one really cares.
Mm.
And they're not allowed to go to church. They're not allowed. We have the Eighth Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment. They don't have those rights in jail, and they have no rights right now. Just recently, Julie Kelly, I think it's Julie Kelly _2 on Twitter, but her name's Julie Kelly. She's been good to every court case, everything. She's like just a citizen, but she is really been on top of it, like crazy about every court trial, every court case, like saying what's wrong, what the judges are saying. It's pretty impressive amount of work she's doing, and so they've been sending her letters explaining like what's going on in there. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, representative from Georgia, went there and had some audio clips of them talking like, we can't go to church unless we're vaccinated. They won't let us go. They won't let us pray. So they hold church every day. They're not allowed to cut their hair because they're not allowed to have knives or scissors or anything sharp. So they have to use Nair to like try to maintain some sort of look. So it's just like a
They have to
big
use what? Sorry?
Nair.
What's
Nair
that?
is like women are usually pretty or like people who like shave their head a lot. It's a cream.
Oh, I know, yeah. What the hell do we call that? I don't know.
In
Anyway, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so they've been having to use that type of stuff. For I think the first few months it was 23 hours a day in jail, and then like for like 2 or 3 months it was like that, 23 hours a day in their cell. Then 2 or 3 months after, for the next 2 or 3 months after that, it was like 2 or 3 hours, and now they're up to 5 hours a day where they can be out. And the judges are granting people bail only if they write a letter disowning Donald Trump and his message. So re-educating, they have to do critical race theory training and re-education.
Jesus Christ.
It
The
took
United
re-education.
Soviet States of America.
I think, and this is where really people, I think I have to understand that, like, and I Cernovich has been right about some things, and I don't agree with him on a lot, but he is right that the escalated, these people are not good people. Evil always goes too far. It always does. Good people sometimes don't go far enough. That's what makes them good. It's a really hard thing to combat. But once you start seeing, and they're exposing themselves, like with Kyle Rittenhouse stuff, it was so easy to tear apart their narrative. And that's why they're so mad. It's because they're losing power in the will of the people. They don't have as much sway as they used to. Independent journalists, independent media are starting to take over. Because if you combine most of the independent people, like out between Alex Jones, Tim Cast, what's another good independent? Glenn Greenwald, Barry Weiss. Trying to think like other people, Jimmy Dore, all anti-media kind of. I think if you probably have a lot of layover. Russell Brand is another big guy on the scene that's kind of calling out the establishment. Sometimes Sagar and Crystal, which I fucking cannot stand them personally. I don't like their stuff that much because I feel like Sagar is just kind of fake. He's like
I agree.
He's like a Democrat that's just pretending to be a Republican most of the time.
No, I agree.
Crystal's full of shit. I just can't. I don't know how she got that job. One of my favorite videos for a long time was Candace Owens fucking owning her and destroying her on her show. It was awesome.
Dude, we forgot something fairly big.
What?
Sing it with me. Happy birthday to you.
No, I'm not saying happy birthday to Joe Biden. Fuck that guy.
Happy birthday to you.
Bastard.
Happy birthday, dear Two Stacks.
2 stacks?
2 Stacks Joe, because he always takes 2 stacks when he's being bribed.
Oh, shit. You could have said Brandon. Could have been a good one.
Yeah, happy birthday, dear Brandon. Beijing Biden. Anyway, yeah. Happy birthday, Joe. Fuck it, everyone deserves a happy birthday.
Yeah. Fucking commies.
So,
no, I think Joe Biden is it is your birthday and you're 1 year closer to leaving this plane. That's all I know.
I thought you were going to say, and you're 1 million years old.
I mean, I think that was the only good article the Onion's put it out in a while was, Oh God, I can't stand Mayor Bill de Blasio.
So I wanted to make you happy.
Huh?
Your happiness is my happiness.
That's me too.
I know
Same,
you
same.
know about this, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if everybody knows about it. So I thought we would take a brief look at the mayor of New York's current thoughts. A large city in the world.
I fucking hate these people, dude.
Happy birthday, President Biden. Jesus, he's tall, isn't he? Look at that.
Yeah, he's a weird looking dude.
He is a weird looking dude. Nice.
I
Okay.
probably know that guy. That's my old
That's for
job.
you. This is specifically for you, Daniel.
Thank you. I will be getting all the boosters.
Yeah. All of the boosters. Oh, that is double virtue. He is being boosted
I
by a
think they just put
beautiful lady of
out
color.
a Forbes or Fortune magazine said that once you're vaccinated, you can't pass it along. I think, or maybe that could have been an old article, but I was like, wait, what?
That's a lie,
Definitely a lie.
if they said that. Uh, El refuerzo de la vacuna contra COVID-19. Well, it wouldn't be 19, would it? Whatever 19 is in Spanish, ya está disponible para los neoyorquinos de. I don't know what 18 is.
18 plus. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why is it all in Spanish? He's not even Spanish. He has no Latin descent, as far as I understand.
No, he's Jewish.
I love it.
What was his name? Wilhelm.
Yeah,
Will?
Strauss Hound or like some like very yuppie sounding
German.
name. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so let's skip down to the good stuff. Why is it all Spanish? I'm really confused.
It's his name, De Blasio.
Well, that's French or Italian. De Blasio. It's
Is
definitely
De
not
Blasio
Spanish.
Italian? It sounds
Blasio surname origin. Blush, Blasi, Blasi, De Biaggi. Pre-Christian Roman Greek. Yeah, it's a fake name, isn't it? So there's probably not going to be.
USA was founded in USA 1900, 1920.
The surname de
Yeah.
Blasio is most common in Italy.
Huh. Look at that. Look at
I'm
that.
pretty sure he's just putting up Spanish because obviously there's a lot of Spaniards. Well, not Spaniards, but Hispanic
Yeah.
people in New York.
I mean, they probably got some Spaniard in them if you know your history.
Yes. Here we go. I mean, I already went through this, but yeah, and you've seen it. Anthony Huber and Joseph Rosenbaum are victims. They should be alive today. The only reason they're not is because a violent, dangerous man chose to take a gun across state lines and start shooting people. To call this a miscarriage of justice is an understatement. Now, I wanted to ask you, do you think that this might wake up like a reasonable amount of people that were just about, they might be New York Democrats, they're progressives, and they're kind of clinging on to the fact that these people aren't playing them like fiddles. And they see this and they think, okay, now he's just kind of taking us for fools.
Well, what's this say under the far right trolls who think it makes a difference whether a violent gunman got his weapon before or after he caused aliens are missing the point. Two people are dead and their killers left unaccountable. That's not justice and they know it. What? Because they did originally say this is not the original tweet. The original tweet is he talked about how he crossed state lines, right? Or it does say it. Oh, take a gun across state line. Okay, sorry, I misread that. Okay, so he's full of shit. If you're following Bill de Blasio and you're seriously following him, you're probably lost.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that there are many people left in the world. Well, I suppose there must be, but it would surprise me if there's still people out there
No, but
that support
my
this guy.
point is this: when everyone starts bringing up the word justice, where is the justice in this? The justice was served by the
Yeah,
people of Kenosha,
yeah,
which is the people who are meant to serve that justice. And this system that we have, this is the whole point, is that they are the last line of defense against the state,
yes, yeah. I mean,
because that's the whole point.
we heard a lot from Black Lives Matter, which is understandable because of the amount of black people that were involved in the shootings.
There was
Uh,
one,
well,
he just didn't get
yeah.
hit.
Um. Oh fuck! I've completely lost my point now.
BLM.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to remember it. My brain's shite. But
I'm sorry
yeah,
about that.
so pretty disappointing. Like the fact that he's just blatantly lying to people. I feel like,
Did you
oh,
see the new mayor? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I remember my point. No, it's all good, dude. So I saw a lot of people from BLM saying, this guy was seen, whatever the word is, seen over by an all-white jury. But the thing is, like, Kenosha is 97% white, isn't
Is it
it?
97? No, I think it's more different. I think it's the racial demographics. I think is not that bad. It could be probably 70%. So probably a comparable racial demographics.
Climate.
Of course, climate.
Demographic.
2010. Do their 2020 census right there to the right. To the right. Oh.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just looking for the. Oh, okay. So it's 84% white. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. But still, 7.7% African American, Native. Okay, yeah,
Mm,
that does make sense.
maybe there should have been a couple of African Americans then.
I think there
Maybe.
was. There was one African American
See, I thought there was one, but then they were
of the
saying,
18, and then randomly he drew the names. There may have not been on the final 12, but as far as I understand it, there was one Hispanic and one African American, which is pretty much evens up with the statistics. You would argue that that
oh
is pretty
yeah,
representative of the community. Um, But Eric Adams, the new mayor of which will be taking over in January, says this decision is an indictment of irresponsible laws that make sure our society are far more violent and unsafe. Under the guise of personal freedom and so-called self-defense, it also sends an extremely dangerous message to those in our country who seek agendas of anarchy, often born in communities often born in prejudice and ignorance, to wreak havoc in their community, potentially murder their neighbors. We should not be shocked. We should be focused to swift and righteous action. I don't think that's really a good response either.
it's ridiculous. Like, just don't attack someone,
But
and then
why are
they'll
you
have.
saying it's irresponsible laws when the laws work for someone to defend themselves? What the
Yeah,
fuck are people talking about?
I feel like this worked as best as good as it could work. Like a dude was attacked, he defended himself, he went to court, which he shouldn't have done, and he was found not guilty. Can I just quickly say, Daniel-san,
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that in America, nobody ever calls themselves British American.
I know. We all know, dude.
It's strange though, isn't it? Because like, yeah, like 25.5% were German, 11.5% Italian, 7% Irish, and 6% Polish. So that makes up what, 25, 35, 42,
But
48%.
I don't know what the British population of the United States, but it's probably not very high.
In 1990, it was 74% of white people were British.
Now it's in what year?
1990
In the U.S.?
in the US. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
No,
This is a joke.
dude,
I don't know your
this
jokes.
is what I mean. Like, it's funny how American brains work. I'm talking British American. So you see people are saying they're of, I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen, like you can see my finger, but
Right, right.
like, so these people are saying of the white people, 7% are Irish American,
Yes, yes, yes.
11% are Italian American. So the
Mhm.
difference is probably British American.
The difference where?
The difference between the 42% that are German,
Oh, are
Italian,
you saying
Irish.
our heritage wise? Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Heritage. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've never
Heritage
heard an
wise,
American say I'm
you
British
know,
American.
well, I mean, I think it's because we kind of gave up that moniker for a reason. Man, those phone.
Yeah, but it's still a fact.
I
I've
think
always found
maybe
that
that's
amazing.
maybe that's culturally because we're not British. We renounce the British
Yeah, but
in that sense. So like we
these
renounced our
people aren't
heritage.
culturally Polish.
No, but they haven't renounced. They never renounced being Polish. You know what I mean? Like when
I know
we
what you mean.
separated from Britain, it was like we're not British, we're Americans. So those people were Americans from then on out, and I think that's culturally that kind of stayed too. So when people
That's what I'm saying.
immigrated from Ireland after the revolution, those people weren't considered. They got that moniker Irish American.
Yes.
You know, so because like if you were here pre-Britain, they didn't want to be called British Americans, dude. They wanted to be called Americans, right? Like,
I know, it's very sweet.
because I don't know how many actual British citizens have moved to the United States and became American. Because there are British Americans. They're just not like that's what after 1776 when we won. Like seriously, I don't know. This is not a joke, but like we are Americans, so everybody who came after got that following moniker, like British
Yeah.
American. And I guarantee you guys probably didn't start trickling back over here for at least 100 years or something, like, you know? Like, you guys
Oh, I
probably didn't
bet it
start
was
like,
a
you
lot shorter than that.
know what I mean? Like,
A
mass.
lot shorter.
But okay, let's look it up. Population of British Americans in the United States, I'm going to say it's under 1%. If I had to guess, it's under 1%.
But again, like this is what confuses me. So let's say that let's say that like your grandparents came over 100 years ago,
Yeah.
and you were called Irish American.
Yes.
If people's grandparents came over 100 years ago
From Britain,
from Britain,
they
I
would be.
don't think people consider themselves British American.
They may not consider, like I said, we kind of gave up that. I don't know, but I would imagine that's still a label people can use, like demographic tracking. People
Oh
just may
my
not call
God,
themselves
man,
British.
0.5%. You're all
Yeah,
lying to yourselves. That's
but like,
hilarious.
yeah, or maybe you just can't let it
Ben
go.
Franklin,
You
what a
just,
French sounding name. Thomas
yeah,
Jefferson, how incredibly Italian.
yes. Well, you can't change where your DNA came from, right? But you
So
can
that's my
change.
point.
They are Europeans. Like they would be considered European people that came here. It wasn't just British.
But it was 90% British.
Yeah, it was 19% British. But
That was very British the way you pronounced
once
that.
British, once we went to war, though, that kind of was over between us. We kind of rejected our genetic heritage, and then modernization. Like there are after that war, people who moved to the United States became British Americans. But this is the thing: if you ever meet a guy in the United States and you say, "Oh, like what's your background?" I'm British. People from Britain do not call themselves British Americans. That's why it has been culturally lost.
Yeah. Well, I feel you, man. I think you're
You know what I
correct.
mean? Like I
I
have
do.
never met a British person in the United States that called themselves British Americans ever.
What
They
do they
always say
call
I'm
themselves?
British. I'm British.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm British. Like that's where they claim home to be. Like
Yes.
I have a guy that I met. He plays rugby with my friend. He's from Ireland, and he works here. He's not a citizen here, I don't believe, but he's like, oh yeah, I'm Irish. You know.
Yeah.
And so like you would never. But if he became a citizen, he would be labeled Irish American.
Yes.
But he would probably
Would
still
he?
consider
That's
himself to be.
weird, man.
It would be labeled legally, like, oh, Irish American. That's your heritage. Why do
Yeah.
we still care so much about genetics? You know what I mean? Like, that's a really interesting question to ask. I'm not saying it's wrong.
I guess it's just interesting.
Sure, it's a good way to track, our genetic code to when they try to take us all over. That's what happened to the Jews, by the way. Hey, just let us know where you're from.
Yeah.
It's your religion, bro.
Fair enough.
Not trying to be weird, bro. I just need you to carry around this piece of paper that lets us know you're a Jew. Why? And the guy, and could you imagine that for a conversation, like when it first, like, why? What the fuck do you want? It's not a big
Yeah.
deal, dude.
Just
Listen, don't
interesting.
worry about it. Don't worry about it. Oh, by the way, just wear this little star. Listen,
Yeah.
just why? You're special. You see,
Just so
we
we
just
know.
want to be friends. Actually, there's a
Yeah. Damn.
fantastic movie. I can't remember what it's called right now, but I want to watch it. I still haven't seen it, but it's when Hitler travels through time. He doesn't actually kill himself, and he ends up in the future, and he starts a YouTube channel, and he becomes like super famous, and like he's like telling people like, and like he's like it's a comedy. It's a
Yeah, I
comedy,
bet.
and I want to watch it. I have to watch it. I don't
So
know what it's called.
in 1700,
Uh huh.
80% of Americans were English, not even British.
What's the difference? I forget. What's the fucking? I mean
God,
English. Well, like Englishmen, Britishmen. As an American, dude, we don't
Britishmen.
listen. We're not surrounded. Listen, I'm gonna tell you. Like this is what people don't get about America. One, our place is massive. We've talked about this before. Two, it's like You guys have like a million countries over there, like 100,
That's
like
true.
in this
That's
like
true.
super. So what is an Englishman for the
Okay,
ignorant American?
so the UK, because I'll start first because it'll make it easier. The UK is the United Kingdom of
Yeah.
Great Britain and Northern Ireland and its territories. So
Uh-huh.
we have, I think, 10 territories. Um, anyway, so
So
yeah, like
barbaric.
what I
It's
think.
barbaric, dude. It's crazy. I mean, I'm not saying
Well,
we
it's the
don't
same
do
as
it.
America, isn't it?
No,
Like
I know, but it's just so
United
weird.
States of
Like
America
we
and
own
its
them, but
territories.
we own them. They're ours.
So like you got the you've got the
Yeah,
US
Puerto
Virgin Islands
Rico. Yeah.
next to the British Virgin Islands.
Why don't they call it the English Virgin Islands?
Well, this is what I'm getting to.
Okay.
So the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland and its
Hmm.
territories. Um, Britain, Great Britain, which you can interchange the two, is three countries: England, Scotland, and
Wales.
Wales.
Fuck yeah, I knew that shit.
And Northern Ireland is the fourth of the three countries that make up the UK.
It's like crazy. It just sounds crazy when you hear it. They're like, but technically, Northern Ireland is the fourth, and you're like merging all this and together. I get it, but it's just like crazy to think about that. Like Ireland is still occupied in a weird way. You guys like won that battle, I guess.
Kind of and not really.
Yeah.
Many more Northern Irish people want to be part of Britain than British people think about whether or not they even care that Northern Ireland is part. Like, I
Right.
like people from Northern Ireland, happy that they're with us. They make fucking amazing soldiers, and just good drinking dudes. But like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't if they want to leave. Like, that's up to them, man. Do your
Yeah.
thing. But the
I,
reason that I actually had this debate with someone on YouTube in the YouTube comment section the other day, where he was like, I want fuck you. I want to see the reunification of Ireland. And I was like, okay, but you realize that Ireland is not what it was 100 years ago, right? They just had a gay Indian president. I mean, you know that, right? And he was like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, yeah.
well, Ireland's been like way more authoritarian. Like they have
Yeah, it's
back
super
passport.
woke. It's super progressive.
They're
They're
all
basically Bill
Europe.
Gates's admin
Europe's
team.
lost. Europe's lost. We need Mark to run for prime minister or something. Then like kick the queen out and then say I'm taking over new
Yeah, I feel like I'm
monarchy.
almost done being a monarchist.
Hey,
Actually, I wasn't even a monarchist. I was just pro queen.
you should check out Curtis Yarvin if you're still into monarchy. If you like want to like explore that idea deeper, Curtis Yarvin or Mencius Goldbug or Moldbug, whatever his name is.
Old fuck, yeah.
Yeah, he's a monarchist in a way. He's extreme right, authoritarian kind of. He kind of view like he's interesting. I'm not saying you agree with him on a lot of things, but it is what it is.
Jesus.
He's smart. He's definitely an historian. He knows what he's talking about. It's just
Did
you
you
may just
just
disagree.
did you just basically call me a far right authoritarian?
No, you got to think it's not. It's way more complicated than what I'm giving it credence to. It's kind of
Okay.
like okay, you want to act like you want to let's say get clean from drugs. There are places you can go when you enter an engagement with them. They basically rule your life. They're like mommy and daddy. They're coming in, telling you what to do, how to live, what job you're going to show up to, how long you're going to work. They're going to tell you what time to go to bed. They're going to tell you how to dress, bathe, times are select. Like that would be authoritarian, right? That is authoritarian to get these people back on track. Some people believe that that's what you have to do to just be successful. Like you guys go like, this is how we're doing it. This is what we're doing. There's no fucking discussion. Boom. I don't know if I agree with that because that sounds like Stalin, but he doesn't think you have to do it through killing people. Like there's I don't know, dude. Listen, I'm not an expert on Yarvin, but I've listened to him enough to know that he is not an ideologue. He doesn't reject any type of thought process. Like he doesn't reject anybody. He's just like, I'll listen to anybody. I'll talk to anybody. So he's interesting. But anyway, so Englishman, Northern Ireland, Wales,
Scotland.
Britain, Great Britain, Scotland. Okay. So so they are those Englishmen.
Okay.
Are they the English or are those the British?
No. So if you're from England,
You're English.
you're English. You're an Englishman. If you're from
Right.
Scotland, you're a Scotsman. If you're from any of those four countries, as well as being so, I, for example, although it's complicated because I have a few different backgrounds in my blood, but like technically, I'm an Englishman and I'm British because I'm an Englishman. In the same way that, like, if you were still, well, let's say like Alabama, let's say you're born and bred in Alabama, you are an Alabamian or an Alabaman
Yeah,
as well as an American.
for sure. So
So
so Scotsmen won't classify themselves as Englishmen.
no, because they're no, they fucking
The Welsh,
definitely wouldn't.
right? The Welsh wouldn't, and
No,
the Northern Ireland wouldn't. So English is
no.
mainly to the island of England. You're considered an Englishman, and then you could call yourself British as
Yep.
well. But most people probably won't call themselves British if they're from Scotland or Wales. They'll say I'm from Great Britain, but I may or Scotland. I don't see like that's what's the point of having the
Oh, it's so
delineation if
complicated. Most people, most young people, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, English, would just call themselves British. Older people tend to differentiate a bit. So, like, if you've got a 60-year-old Scotsman, he would definitely just say, I'm Scottish. And they would definitely be more likely than an English person to call themselves Scottish. Like, more English people would just say, I'm British because England is like 85% of Britain.
so like, but like a Scotsman could say, and it would be categorically correct. I'm from Great Britain.
I'm British, or
I'm
they
British.
they could say I'm from Great Britain, but they would just say I'm British.
I'm British.
Yeah,
But they probably won't because generally they'll just call themselves where they're born, like I'm Scottish. Because it's easier for people to understand. I would imagine if I'm
yeah,
like when
I think that's probably
you know,
true.
it's kind of like you look at like South America. There's so many different, little countries and people get offended, dude. Like, oh, where are you from? And they'll be like,
Central America, definitely, man. I
it's great.
cannot.
But that's what I'm saying. Europe is no different than Central America as far as like the little countries, big countries. Everyone's like all these smish mash. America's America, and there's 50 states, so that can be a little confusing too. I get it, but like when you talk to like people, I remember I was talking to this French woman when I was hanging out in Germany. She was blown away by how little I knew. I'm like, okay, tell me what Texarkana is, and they'll be like,
It's in Texas
yeah, but there's a Texarkana in like Oklahoma, right? Like
and
it's just
Oklahoma.
like there's literally a Decatur here. There's a Decatur in Florida. There's a Decatur in Mississippi. Like there's just so many reverberations because people literally said, "I'm gonna move from Decatur in Florida, and I'm gonna go create a new Decatur
That's the
in
most
Alabama."
American fucking thing I've
It
ever
is
heard.
literally just rebranding, no pun intended, rebranding all the way across the United States. So like you see this weird, a lot of similar names, a lot of similar stuff. But
Copy
it's
paste, copy paste.
I can tell you like London exists, that Paris exists. I can tell you like the main big things in Europe.
You guys have a
That
fucking Lebanon in Texas.
sure
The
they got
Lebanon.
everything. They ran out of names. They just started
And you
naming
have
it.
in Iraq.
We might. I don't know about that one. I know, but like you think
Beirut.
about we started running out of English names and we started giving them to fucking Mexico. We're like Spanish. We're like, oh, we're just gonna fucking start naming our shit like, fucking what is it? Los Angeles. I think it means a whale's vagina. What is that? It's from Anchorman. Do you remember where he's sitting? He's like San Francisco. It's like I'm pretty sure it's Latin for a whale's vagina or something
Is that
like
in
that. It's Anchorman. It is a great scene where he says that.
is it San Diego?
San Diego.
If I
That's what it
share this,
is.
will they be able to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's give it a go.
Your volume's down on the
Oh,
video.
fuck.
Oh, nope. No video. No audio. That's weird.
Really?
Not for me.
Mm,
Nah, it is what it is.
hold on.
What a great movie, though. Anchorman's
Turn off
fucking awesome.
incoming video.
Look at that. I do love this movie, though. I think Anchorman is probably like this movie would be really hard fit to be made today because people would be so offended. But this is the kind of movies that need to be made. But also, these people
That's
are
the
dead.
funniest shit I've ever heard.
Dude, it is so good. The
San
people,
Diego.
I think it's whatever for a whale's vagina. Like it is something like that, right? Doesn't he
Yeah,
say that?
that's
Like,
it.
it is
Yeah.
exactly what he says. It's with the culture, like Saturday Night Live's not funny.
It's
Most
not.
Hollywood movies coming out are not daring, not brave, not very good. Um, People are sick and tired of Marvel movies. I think people are getting exhausted. I think Bill Maher, I disagree with like fucking. He's still kind of trapped in his little like he's right about certain things, and when he's just plain old wrong, he's still kind of trapped. He's coming around to certain things, but he's
Yeah.
right. He called up the woke shit. He's like, people are sick and fucking tired of being told that they're racist, that they're this, that they're that, that it's not okay to laugh about certain things, it's not okay to be make, and people are just done. And this is why evil doesn't have to be malicious. So evil's just gonna like it can just be annoying too.
Yeah.
Like that can be evil. So I think what people are starting to realize is they're just done. They're just
What
done.
what what frustrated me was when I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe a month ago at the very most, where he went on this really long kind of rant and he said something along the lines of, we're really massively divided, and what people have to understand is that, whatever our politics are, blah 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 blah, we need to come back together, otherwise it's only going to get worse. And then literally 15 seconds later, he's like, and nobody does hatred like the Republican bigots. And I was like, what?
Well, the thing is, he's wrong there. We do not need to come together with the side that's on the pedophiles. That's the side on medical mandates. I don't need to come to your side. We're not going to meet in the middle there until you give up your rhetoric and give up your bullshit.
Yes.
Like I don't really have time to sit there and discuss with you because if you're going to tell me that my brother or my has to be forced to get a medical treatment to do his job, that's the end of it. I don't need to talk to you anymore. It's
Yeah.
over. Like you're done. You are excommunicated. I guess the way I look at it. And people have similar views about some of the things I've said, whether it's the police or society. They go like, that's it. That's my cut off point, right?
Yeah. I guess like my point was just it seems a little bit ironic for him to kind of act like we all need to get along and then immediately call out half the population.
He's got to tactically do this. I think what Bill Maher is doing is he's doing just enough to piss off the right, but not scare them away. Just be like, God, you're so close. That's what we're all thinking, right? The right wing or the people who are just normal. Like,
Yeah.
you're right there. And then, but you still listen. You still are like, okay, he says some things that I agree with. So he's not pissing you off enough to make you run away forever. He's being reasonable. So you're like, oh, he's almost there. But what people are seeing is that same thing is happening on the left, or the Democrats are going, the establishment people are going, I feel kind of bad. I feel like I'm getting beat up a little bit. Like maybe I was wrong. This, that. And then all of a sudden he comes back and he's like, but the Republicans still suck, though. Right. And we need to remind everyone. And that kind of gives them that boost. I don't know if he's doing that intentionally, but it is a smart play. If you're trying to lead people without scaring them away, you kind of got to give
Yeah.
them some breadcrumbs. You got to give them some breadcrumbs. You
I
can't just be
I
them the
just feel
whole.
like he could have done it without being so viscerally like harsh. The way he just said like nobody does hatred like a Republican, I was like, wow. Like even like as a foreigner, I was kind of it was grating. Like I really felt like awkward. Like the second it rolled off his tongue, I was like, oh
Well, I mean, from his perspective, Republicans are the greatest threat. For his whole career, it's been those have been the people that have been trying to take him down, and then now he's that now though that he's part of the real like power structure, even more so. Um, they view them as a greater threat because they're the only people that are challenging that type of worldview. They're
mm,
not for social media, not for gun control, not for this, that, or the other. So he's still ideologically opposed to them. So it kind of makes sense. He just wants to save people from the woke mob, the horde,
mm,
and I don't agree with everything, but at the end of the day, I'm like, at least he's calling out some shit. Because you
yeah.
watch anything else mainstream, it's not that. And like the NBA put out a statement on the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict yesterday. Fucking crazy. The NBA. It
I
is. What do you even say anymore? Like, dude, everyone should be cheering that a person was found not guilty when it was clear that he should have been found not guilty. That if you watch that trial, that's the problem with these ideologies. They're not, they can't stand up to scrutiny because it's like LeBron James bitching about shit going on in the United States while you're wearing Nike sneakers and there's genocide happening. And then Enes Kanter, who I don't like personally. I respect for what he's standing up to LeBron and Nike and the China, but he's an asshole when it comes to the vaccine mandates. He believes everyone should be forced to it, which is ironic and fucking hilarious that you want to stand up for other people, whatever. And he stood up against Turkey. I respect him in those ways, but fuck you for wanting to make everyone get vaccinated. That's all I got to say on that. But he was wearing shoes last night. You can look it up on Twitter. Just type in Enes Kanter and go to photos. He was wearing shoes when they were playing the Lakers. He's on the Boston Celtics last night, which I'm obviously a fan of the Boston Celtics. He put up sneakers that he got specially made LeBron kneeling and bending down while Xi Jinping is putting a crown on his head.
Well,
and
what do I need to write in? Tell me what to type in.
It's just type in Kanter shoes, Kanter shoes, and then go to like images. It should be one of the first things that pops up. You'll see us like basketball sneakers, like very brightly colored, I imagine. Nah, well, no, you gotta, you have to do it on Twitter. You have to do it on Twitter.
Oh,
bro.
sorry.
Yeah, just type in Kanter sneakers or Kanter shoes or whatever. Kanter. Yeah. Just you got to put a space there. Just do a Kanter shoes, sneakers. Yeah, that'll be fine. And then one of the images should be right there. There it is. Yeah, that's it. So if you can see,
God damn.
LeBron, and he did it, and it's called like Big Money or something on there.
Oh,
yeah, LeBron, Xi Jinping and he's like dressed up like Winnie the Pooh.
so what? This is all symbolism. Let him call out President Biden. Listen, dude, everyone has their own way of. Not everyone has to.
No, I mean he's not.
This is not LeBron's fight.
What's not LeBron?
Sorry, dude. Maybe you can't see it. I was just reading this. Someone's made a comment. It says, "So what? This is all symbolism. Let him call out President Biden or the multinationals like Apple, Microsoft, Samsung, who has billions invested in China. This isn't LeBron's fight." Well, what? Yeah, but LeBron needs to stop.
James, you can watch his response to the sneakers. It's like a minute video.
That's funny.
And there's the other side of them. Yeah, you can see on the other side the other sneakers. A little bit. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, it's I would definitely go click on the LeBron James video though. You just watch it really quick before we get out of here because I know we gotta go. But I think it's really like LeBron James. Go to videos.
Oh, fuck.
It's like you never. There it is. Oh.
Yeah, no, I don't really go on Twitter. This is probably the third time in my life I've been on Twitter on my PC.
Fair enough.
So just click on LeBron James again.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Can you hear it?
I can't, but they might be able to.
Hear that? You can't hear that?
Mm-mm.
You can't hear that at all?
Nah. It's fine. I mean, hey, dude, listen. Maybe you could do a video on it, though. You know, you don't have to worry about it right now. You could do a video on it. I'm sure it's interesting, right? It's an interesting thing to do a video on for sure.
It is. I just wanted to see if I could play it through the microphone.
No, it's all. No, I don't hear it. The mic won't let it pick up if it's the video. Like it won't let it because it's yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's freaky how they can do that. That's why I was wondering if it was.
Yeah, no. For some reason, it's just if you're not plugged in, I probably can't hear it because it's coming through your speakers, so it's not coming through like that. Might be a reason. I don't honestly know, but that's a really interesting video. His response is kind of whatever. He's like, as a man, you should come and talk to me or whatever.
Yeah. Joke. Yeah, but I mean, well, listen. LeBron James, to me, and, you know, nobody's fucking heard of LeBron James in Britain. Like, in the UK, So I guess it's different for me because I feel like maybe in America he's this massive superstar, but if you walked up to someone over here, picked a random 25-year-old and said, "Do you know who LeBron James is?" They might say, "Oh, isn't he an American sports person or something?" But like, there's no way they could tell you who he played for. I feel like most people wouldn't be able to tell you what sport he played. But to me, he just seems like somebody that was probably scouted when he was quite young, like when he was 16, 17, and they were like, "Oh, he's going to be good." And then obviously he was fairly good.
I
And
mean, he is a great basketball player. There's no doubt about that.
yeah, and then they've made a lot of money from him. And, I guess he just feels like he's king. But as many people have said, he is very fucking stupid. Like, I don't give a shit what people think to me saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his opinions on things are monumentally ignorant.
I think
And
ignorant or ill-informed, or there's
yeah,
no.
I mean, ignorant is just lack of knowledge, isn't it? Ignorant, it's not like an offensive.
I doubt he probably barely knows how to read, dude. I don't know. He probably, cause they didn't give a shit about, yeah, and that's how it is for a lot of sports. People who play, especially back in the day, they just didn't give a shit. They just passed kids because they were good for the team. Like that is a common trope in Hollywood movies. But I'm not saying that was everywhere, but that's definitely true. Hey, we want the kid to play Friday. His GPA needs to be up, to a C average to play.
Yeah.
You give him extra credit.
Wink,
Uh,
wink.
yeah, I'm sure he can read. I'm sure he's fine. But he comes from a very affluent family. He's not some poor kid. He's not a dude that ever had a struggle. And good. I'm glad he didn't. But Cantor is a guy from Turkey, and it's a very oppressive regime there. So I understand why he feels the way he does. But like I said, if you can't stand up for the country, you're like, there is that argument, like, why aren't you standing up to Joe Biden and the vaccine mandates if you don't like oppression? It's just the oppression that now you can get because you're getting famous off of it.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't even watch basketball that much. I mean, I'm still a Celtics fan, I guess, but
Oh, by the way, I very quickly,
mm.
what was it? I saw.
The highest
Yes.
population.
So this isn't British, obviously. If you're including Scotland and Wales and Northern Ireland, I imagine the percentages are higher. But this is how many English people there are in each state today. So not like someone that's moved over whilst being England, but how many people have English
Heritage.
heritage?
Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
like up to 30 to 55% in the sort of well, that's Canada, but in the New England area. And then
Oh,
interestingly, in Utah and Idaho, which is cool.
yeah,
And then
Mormons.
also interestingly, in some of the based states. So like Kentucky,
Mm.
Tennessee, is that?
Yep,
Is that West
Tennessee.
Virginia?
Yep.
Damn. Fuck it. I've screwed up. Uh, and is that North and South Carolina?
Yes. No, Virginia and North Carolina.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's
Virginia
South Carolina is the one right below that
and
purple. Yeah.
Georgia.
Yep.
So they're pretty high as well. Wow. I never realized it was like the
Yeah, like
Southeast.
Alabama's got a lot. Yeah, but you got to think, dude. Like, I mean, there was a lot of you guys. There was at least a couple million people, right, by the Revolution War living, if not more, probably a few million, 10 million. I don't know what it was. 5 million people
Yeah, I don't
lived
know.
during the time of the Revolution. So most of those people were immigrants from uh, Great Britain. So
And then I guess here, oh no, Portland. I mean
yeah,
Oregon. I guess they kind of spread down from the west coast of Canada.
yeah.
And what? We're not good enough to be anywhere in
I don't think you would.
Illinois, Michigan.
It's cold as balls, but then again, you guys are in Canada, so
I mean,
I don't know. But like
Minnesota.
heritage-wise, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like genetically, we're probably connected back to Great Britain with a great deal of people in the United States. Absolutely, makes sense. Just makes
It does.
sense, But now that won't matter anymore. We got a new wave of you know, Southern people coming in, so it could be interesting. Mix
Did you just
pot
say
of both.
Southern people?
They're Southern. That's deep South. That's what they are.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You goddamn right. Yeah, I was listening to this crazy old video from a guy that was in the Civil War. He was recorded. It was like 1950 12 or
Six.
something. He did this
Oh,
recording.
I think I did see something. I never watched it. Is it any
Dude,
interesting?
he sounds like my grandpa. I thought everyone in the Civil War like talk like this. Yo, give him that
No
musket,
way.
boy. They
Probably
sounded
not.
English.
Yeah, they probably did because
He
I
sounds like
mean
my
it's the same.
granddad.
It's the same reason why people in Michigan sound like they're from Canada. They're called Yoopers because they
Yeah,
have like, hey there, Bill, how you doing there? You want to go
yeah.
hang out? What you doing about that? Like they do sound Canadian. But yeah. Well, listen, I think I do gotta go because I gotta call my friend and I just threw my phone. But yeah, fuck LeBron James.
Yep.
Fuck Biden and keep pushing forward, people. Kyle Rittenhouse won. So he won that
Yeah.
battle. It was good.
My
Felt good.
my movie recommendation for you all. I paid for this with real money. Is I really hope I didn't just do this, and I think I did, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I think I might have given this the other day. Seven. Go and watch Seven and
Oh, that's good.
Primal Fear. Go and watch Primal Fear. Amazing film.
I would recommend that you go watch the new documentary, Tiger King 2, because I haven't watched it, and I'd rather you watch it and let me know what you think in the comments. Because I started the first episode, I watched it, and I was like, I don't know about this. So you guys watch it for me. So I'm sorry, I'm going to give you a surprise recommendation because I honestly want to know if it's worth watching. Um, but if you want me to give you like a little bit of a movie, go watch the Witness with Harrison Ford. It's on HBO Max. It's okay. It's pretty good. A little cheesy, but it's got Amish people in it. That's pretty sick. Amish people are cool. So yep.
Good
Yeah,
stuff.
sure.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I guess it was a little bit of a ramble today, wasn't it? But it's President Biden's birthday, and we should all be very thankful that he's been with us for another year. So thank you, Joe. Anyway, yeah, thanks everyone, and we will see you again soon.
Winston stopped writing, partly because he was suffering from cramp. He did not know what had made him pour out this stream of rubbish